Killer Instinct is back for a second season, underway this week on Investigation Discovery. 8-time Emmy Award-winning journalist Chris Hansen is exploring some of America's most horrific crimes. He joins us this morning with insight. Chris, it's good to see you and welcome.
Well, thank you, Mary.
I'm curious about the stories you're telling this season. And I know we can't cover them all here, but give us an example of what we'll see.
We try to find stories that people have not heard about before, that are compelling and very interesting, or stories that are well known where people have not spoken out before. So I'll give you an example. Coming up this Monday night at 8 your time, it'll be the story of a case in Tampa, Florida, the murder of a female impersonator who went by the name of South Beach Wanda. And it's this wild, twisty, turny story that keeps people really at the edge of their seats watching it. What Ideas allowed me to do is go out in the field, do the kinds of interviews I like to do, show people things they've not seen before, let them hear things they've not seen before, and we combined this with a very cinematic recreation. And it really comes out to be, quite honestly, a mini motion picture.
Could you go in depth a little bit more, Chris, about how you decide which cases to examine? Because I imagine that hundreds of them across this country would fit the parameters you laid out. So beyond that, what are you looking for?
Well, we're looking for good characters. We're looking for, drama. We're looking for something that people relate to. My theory on this is that if you get into the mind of a criminal, if you can evoke the emotions of a victim or a victim's family, you can really sort of prepare people, educate people, and maybe you'll prevent somebody else from becoming a victim.
What goes into creating this series? I imagine it takes a tremendous amount of time just to do the research.
Well, it does. I mean, we're already looking, we've barely got started with season 2 and we're already looking at season 3. Mm-hmm. So it is. And also you're looking at a landscape where, a lot of people are looking for these stories. So you don't want to be doing a story that somebody else has done. I look for things that would interest me. I look for things where there are compelling characters, people who really want to tell their story. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not a straightforward narrative. These things, take a lot of twists and turns, and that's what makes them interesting. We also like to explore the relationship between the dogged detectives who solve these cases and the victims' families, because to me that's one of the most interesting parts of all this.
If I think back about television and the Law and Order type series, but then there's been this evolution for viewers now, the Making a Murderer and some of these other things where it's the real life aspect that viewers want. Do you feel like there's something to the success of your show and what's happening right now, what viewers seem to be most interested in?
We take them to the inside of the case, just like Making of a Murderer or, the Durst thing on HBO. Reality is sometimes more bizarre than fiction. And even when you look at Law and Order, and that's a great show, and Dick Wolf has done a great job with all his franchises, but, those cases are ripped from the headlines. Mm-hmm. We are the headlines in these cases.
Mm-hmm. Look for Killer Instinct with Chris Hansen only on Investigation Discovery. Chris, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mary.
Mike, over to you.